Okay.
Bells.
So, I want to put a couple of things to you. Personalities of the year that gone by. I mean, just we'll go with the last person we saw there, Brian Cowan. Unlucky or unable, George Hook.
Well, the interesting picture you showed there was Bertie Ahern. You know, I read in the paper last week that the answer to our problem is to call back Bertie and Charlie McCreevy. For crying out loud. I mean, it's like the cowboys in the covered wagons calling for help from Geronimo and Cochise. I mean, it is an extraordinary decision for anybody to make. Like, Cowan was unlucky.
Who else have you got, George?
Well,
who have you got? Enda Kenny?
Well, I'll tell you.
Brian Cowan? Have you anyone else in Fianna Fáil? Who have you got? You tell me. Tell me who you got, George, because you know what? There's nobody.
No, you see...
And you know what? When Bertie Ahern was in there, people saying, he's got to go, he's making a balls of things. He went, people said, he's gone, he made a balls of things and he's gone. Like, the fact is, Bertie couldn't do right by anyone either way, but the fact is, who else have you got?
Do you want an answer?
What have you got?
Do you want an answer,
You tell me what you got.
Tell me
what you got,
George. Give an answer. Can you get over here? We need your help.
How can you possibly say...
George, who have you got?
No, let him talk. Brendan, hush.
How can you possibly say that the others, who were Enda Kenny, Eamon Gilmore, Jerry Adams, how can you possibly say, when they have never been in power...
So you put one of them in?
Well, what did Britain... No, I'll give you an example. What did America do when it was the recession? They turned to a man crippled by polio who couldn't get around without a wheelchair. What did England do? What did England do?
And I tell you what, I'll tell you one thing. Bertie Ahern in a wheelchair looks a damn sight more energetic than Cowan on two legs.
Okay. I want to bring Liz in because you guys are arguing a little bit. Liz, okay, one of the great stories, whether or not you were for him or against him, was this extraordinary election in the United States of America. You're wearing the cap. I don't know if the audience feels the same way about it. I know personally I'm fascinated by the subject. What was it about that man's election and his path to victory that seemed to capture a lot of people's attention this year?
Well, Barack Obama has everything that none of our politicians have. Decorum, charisma, he's a great orator, he is capable. Certainly, by watching him on screen, he appears to be hugely capable.
He hasn't done anything yet.
I know he hasn't done anything else yet, but war-weary America has said enough is enough. And that's why war-weary America voted Barack Obama for change. And this is my present. I'm going to give you the present anyway. Have an Obama bar.
A bar.
An Obama bar.
Fantastic. Look at that.
If nice? You will.
Okay.
Which I shipped in.
I suspect you'd like to have a mouthful of...
There we go. Yeah. I saw that.
And you saw that coming a mile off. Yes, fair enough. He's easy on the eye. He's got good gnashes. They do a lot of high fives in America, and he can dance.
Let's get George in.
The interesting thing for my friend here, he talks about Kenny and Gilmore, right?
Yeah.
Kenny and Gilmore have more political experience than Barack Obama. Like, the entire world is hoping that this guy can swing it. Because if he doesn't, my friend here thinks anyone who follows American elections is a nerd. Without America, we can't make it. Without America, we can't make it. And we are hoping that this guy can pull it off.
Let's ask your friend to give us his take on Barack Obama.
I think I suspect we're going to run out of time, and I want to talk about false. We have to talk about Okay, Barack Obama. I'll tell you what briefly, I'll tell you what I think went on there. Okay, despite the fact that he's this very well-educated, kind of almost no privilege. I know he had a difficult enough younger background. He's this member of the establishment. Because he's black, Irish people decided that he was the underdog. And because Irish people, despite the fact that we're one of the richest countries in the world, we like to think of ourselves as the underdog. We like to think of ourselves as being kind of black. We all went mad for Obama. Personally, I would hate to be the guy who has become a metaphor for change for changing America, and the guy who has become a metaphor for hope.
It's the
last guy who came down who was perfect, they nailed him to a cross.
Okay.
Let's see how it works.
Nobody said the word Messiah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the clock shows 5 minutes to the year 2009.
Too much talking to do.
No, we've got more to come. So, let's Liz or anyone actually on this. You want to mention, and I'll start you with you, George. The Foss debacle that took place towards the end of the year certainly caught a lot of people's attention. What was it about that particular episode that seemed to get on people's nerves so much?
Because I think it demonstrates that this is one of the most unprivileged societies. Like, this is a country that, for all our efforts since 1916, we have delivered in almost a century a nation of haves and have-nots. And the guys who worked in Foss, because it came through his belief over 15 years that you could do what you liked, you could take brown envelopes, it didn't matter, everything was okay, the stroke was okay, then they did what they liked. Yeah. And that's the nation we are. Whereas there is an enormous number of hard-working people out there who now see their pensions damaged, their future prospects damaged by these guys. And I am as angry as hell at these guys. And it is typical of Ireland that there's nobody in the dock.
Not only them, but a culture rather than just a one particular.
Yeah, and I think that's why Foss, for many people, was such a great thing, because this year, I think people were hugely angry, and there was a huge sense of injustice. We had a government that people have no confidence in anymore. We had these guys who ran the banks into the ground and jeopardised the whole country, and nothing happened to any of them. Shawnee Fitzpatrick lost his job for another reason entirely.
Yes.
The guys in Foss, boy, it has to be said, the Sunday Independent were caught by the balls, and people loved it.
Okay,
essentially what these guys had decided was that they were going to enter Ireland into the space race without telling any of us, and they started heading over to Florida, spending all this money, and they thought they were entitled to all this. Was the worst part. But you know, one thing I want to say about it, Ryan, the terrible thing about it is that despite all that money spent with NASA and everything else in Foss, we have yet to produce a single astronaut out of this country. Apart from Bill Cullen. And funnily enough, Bill Cullen, at least we know, gave at least one apprentice a job last year. We can't say the same for Foss.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
This is... Oh, about 2 minutes. Liz, okay, let's go into the new year now. What did something good happen this year? Is there something that you think, yes, I'm glad it happened and it was good to be there to see it? What do you think, folks?
Oh, I think everybody's...
What are you saying? Munster, very good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, sport transcends transcends everything. Sport did it first.
Anything else this year, lads, in the audience? Oh, that tells its own tale.
What? Am I talking?
Anything happy?
Sorry, I'm talking.
No,
I just wanted to make two comments, by the way. Sorry, and I'm going backwards slightly. I think Cowan, by the way, inherited a poison chalice. We don't have much choice. We have to either get behind him and let him try and attempt to do something, or...
Okay.
You know,
if he would try and do something, we'd get behind him, I think.
Okay, let's bring our friends in. We're going to hold that wonderful thought. We got to bring some of our guests back. Leo Sayers back.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Welcome, Leo.
How you doing?
Katie, hop in there. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Very good, Kenny. Sit down, everyone. Sit down.
Can I just say as well, I have other options. I could be at parties and stuff. In case people are thinking, what a loser, what's he doing here?
Such a grumpy old man.
I could be elsewhere. It just kind of looks as if you've no friends to be hanging around with a bunch of strangers on New Year's Eve. That's all. I'm just saying, I have friends.
I think what we'll do is to punish him. Let's try and maybe later on in the show force him to sing a song with Leo Sayers.
Yeah,
we'll get you. We'll get you. How are we doing there, Johnny? Got approximately 1 minute to go. Okay, Kenny, you're okay sitting beside George now, because he's kind of in the same sort of weight program as you, I think, in some respects. But I'm not. 1 minute to midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Here, take some of those for starters, okay? And humbugs, there you go. Okay, that's great. Health and safety. Leo, you enjoying yourself so far?
I'm having a fantastic time.
Yes. 30 seconds if you're at home, ladies and gentlemen. Put your drinks down. We're nearly there. We'll count you in properly. Katie, you're okay
Here comes the bubbly.
Nearly there, and we can start pouring because we're going to get a little zang in about 20 seconds' time. How are we looking at the clock there, Johnny? We're looking at about 20. We're nearly there now. 11, 10.